Hey everyone, Dan here. We are several hours after market close on Tuesday, June 29th. Today we're going to do an update on Square. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And feel free to comment below with your thoughts, questions, ideas, tickers you'd like me to cover, etc. This ticker, an update on this ticker was suggested in the comments. And so I do jot all of those down and I get to them, when I can. Okay, so, two other housekeeping notes. One, I'm recording in a slightly different area of the house. It might be a little more echoey than normal, so if you're enjoying the reverb, let me know, but more likely than not, the audio is worse, so hopefully it's not too bad, but just a note on that, this won't be the new norm. And also, we just had a huge thunderstorm roll through, which is awesome, but there have been some sirens coming and going in the background, so hopefully they generally don't crop up in the video, but just in case. Hopefully they don't last long. So Square has been on a nice run lately. This is the chart that we charted back here on June 15th, so it's 2 weeks to the day. And it's been following this channel nicely that we had in this video, and we had all these upper price targets in that video as well. You see, it looks exactly the same. So it did a good job working its way up the channel. Now, it's sort of doing this thing where it's developing a channel within a channel, which we actually saw in last night's video with Palantir. And so what that can often mean is it's going to do one of two things. Either break one of these channels relatively soon, or I think this is actually what happened with Palantir. These double channels or channels within channels tend to just break both channels sooner than later. So if we zoom in here, I can sort of show you the channel within a channel, though it might be obvious and jumping out to you at this point. But right here is this very steep up channel. Just make it yellow so we can see it. So that's the channel within the channel. That's what's been holding it so high in this green channel that we had originally located and charted a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, like I said, to me, it often means that there's some big breakout coming in one direction or another. I don't know if that's a big break and leave the channel to the upside, leave the channel to the downside. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to break the channels to the downside. But just know that, that's typically what I see, is it's at least going to leave one of these. Oftentimes will blow up both of them. So we'll keep an eye in the coming days to see if that happens here. The other thing that I would be aware of is this gap that's left here. We can stretch it out and just kind of leave it here for the time being. That might come into play if it does leave this yellow channel. I could see it coming down close to that 238.74, but really more like, just under 240 in order to fill that gap. And then it'll depend on whether or not it needs to stretch down to the 238 to try to bounce off of it, or if there's, if that introduces a bunch of selling pressure, that move down, obviously that will break the yellow channel. It will still be well within the green channel. So there's several areas of support for Square to catch itself if it does come down and it needs it. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the days ahead. But otherwise, to me, all of these upper price targets that we had put in the last video still stand. So up to 268.54 for the time being. As you see, if it stays on course with this yellow channel, it's going to get there really soon. It would just be like a couple of weeks away, potentially. So yeah. Congrats if you caught this one for sure. I'm trying to keep this a quick update. I'm going to try to do some of these like quick hitter updates so I can cover more ground. Let me know in the comments below if you feel like this sort of like super fast video by my standards, definitely under say 7 minutes. If that seems to be too quick or if it's plenty of info, especially since it's a recap stock and you feel like it gives a nice update anyway. Let's check the indicators really quickly before we leave. The RSI stretching up really high, but you see it is been in overbought territory. Did it make it here? Not quite. 3, if we just count this as one big time, 4 times since 525, 3 times since 614. So a really crazy push up, but that's why I'm saying that yellow channel within a channel working really steep there. So I don't know when the selling pressure is going to come in or how far down it's going to bring square, but I would keep an eye on that box if you're looking for an average down or a dip buy or something like that. Obviously, pretty good bullish momentum, but you see here this high and this high were relatively the same, but this area was much smaller, and then these have decreased every time since then. So it's continuing to roll down and lose bullish pressure as it goes. So we'll see if that means that bearish pressure is going to creep in. The interesting thing here is the bullish pressure is coming down, but the bearish pressure is not picking up in order to kind of drag it down in any way, shape, or form. So sort of a weird setup at the moment for Square, but I would just keep an eye on these channels and these price points as potential dip buy zones, especially that white area, and go from there. Okay, a couple of other things if you're willing to stick around. I have a few links in the description below. One is a newsletter that I'm thinking of launching in the next couple of months. It would be once or twice a week. I would send out interesting play ideas, some things that I think could be helpful in the days ahead. That would be to supplement things that I just don't have time to do videos on. And again, it would just be once or twice a week. It wouldn't be anything sort of overbearing. So there's a link in the description below if you want to put your email into a Google form. I'm just collecting them for now. I think when they get to 100, I'm going to then start to build out what the newsletter will look like. So that'll probably put us a month away or so. So nothing imminent, but if you're interested, stick it there now so that it gets us to 100. And then the other thing is a couple of brokers. This is Webull, the chart that you're looking at right now. There's a link below if you want to start up with them. They're free, a free broker. And then Gatsby, which is another free broker that is great for just going in and executing trades really quickly. Something that that you want to go grab. That's how I do it. Really super speedy, super modern UX and UI, and it's a really good experience. Okay, that'll do it for this one. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.